everybody. It's Friday, and you know what that means. Welcome back to Business Salad, where we mix up all things business for you for free. We're your hosts, Steph and Katie, and we are super excited today to be with Alina Gardeza of the Escape Room in Manassas, Virginia. She runs that with her husband, Ali. They serve all of Northern VA, and they also have some really cool things for the rest of the country. So you guys are going to have to hold on and hear that from her. But first of all, Alina, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys? God, it's Friday.
Yes, it's Friday. So excited. I do love my weekends because I try to shut everything off on Saturdays, even though that never really works out for me. For sure. Do you guys get extra busy on the weekend?
Yeah, Saturdays are actually our busiest day, so weekends are actually more exhausting than the week, but it's a fun you kind of see like all the stuff you work towards during the week, like your fruition, which is nice.
I love that. That's awesome. Katie, how are you doing this week?
Good. We have a fun, busy weekend coming up. Logan and I have karate board breaking tomorrow. Very exciting. You know, I have to get him to stop hitting walls and stuff. But other than that, we're great. So yeah, it's been a busy week. I think that's kind of been the theme of like everyone I've talked to. But we are super excited, Alina, to talk to you about what you're up to and the virtual spin, all the stuff you've been doing. So I'm excited and glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. It's exciting to share all that.
Well, let me just jump in. So first of all, I would love to find out, just first and foremost, what got you in to what you're doing. Before we do that, tell us a little about what you do. Tell us about the Great Xcape. Tell us about this.
Okay, so we are a family escape room located in Manassas, and what we basically do is we offer escape rooms for families, which kind of explains itself. But the good thing about us is it's not like the scary kind where people will jump out and scare you, or like if you have the younger kids, like 6, 7, 8 even, they're welcome in and they can participate without being worried about something popping out or scaring them, or like it being too dark or it being too scary, or even like a storyline that's a little bit more serious. So although our rooms are hard, they're family friendly, and that's rare to find in this area. So we're excited that we offered that. We also do murder mystery dinners, which is super fun, super exciting, and we've had this like huge pickup in it. So it's been interesting because of I guess COVID.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I need to hear more about the murder mystery dinner. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Yes. So they're scripted. Usually it's a group of 10. We have a private party room where we can host a group of 10 or more, and we get food catered from a restaurant or a local business. And then they come in, and it could be anything from like the Mardi Gras theme to ladies' night out, masquerade, you know, the 20s. So they help pick a story with us, and then this group acts out their murder mystery while eating, and we just go in to give the clues. And it's a nice way to eat out without being exposed, and having your personal space. And we have really cool photo props that they can do, and like a little mugshot background thing where they can take pictures with funny signs and just like solve the mystery. And it's a cool room to be in, and a bunch of photo options there and stuff like that.
That is awesome. That is so cool. You know, I think a lot of the time we find ourselves in a career path, and it's not like, you know, like I'm in insurance, for example. I didn't wake up one day and be like, you know what, I've always dreamed of this. You know, every time, sometimes things happen. And so, you know, that like real estate, we're not like, this is what I want to do. You know, you never know, right? So one of the things I love, because we have so many entrepreneurs that we're talking to and businesses we're highlighting, and there's different stories. Tell us your origin story. How did you get into this business? How did this start? Tell us about that.
The most random thing ever. I'm part of this amazing group on Facebook called the Loudoun County Social Collective, which I think you guys are also a part of, and where we met. Lisa Adams, the moderator, is a great friend, and I go in the group to support her and all of that. And somebody posted in the group that they were selling an escape room, and I was tired, and I'd been working at a local nonprofit. I realized something where I could kind of set my own hours and focus on what I was doing, and just something different. So I reached out to the person selling it, and we hit it off, and it worked. And same group, I found a commercial real estate agent who was amazing, Mercedes Taylor, and they just helped me basically make my dream come true. And honestly, without that group, it would not have been possible. And I would probably not have a job and be at home chilling right now. But really
Oh,
did, it just everything fell into place. And I remember Lisa and Mercedes both saying, hey, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. But what
Yeah.
makes you want an escape room? And I was like,
yeah,
they're fun. I mean, it's
absolutely.
different. And we came and saw the place, and my husband and I both fell in love with it. And he said, you already do marketing. So if this is something you want to do, I'm in, let's do this. And he was incredibly supportive and helped come up with the funds to buy it. And so we now escape room.
Oh my God.
That is so awesome. What a really cool story. I think sometimes, you had that opportunity, and I think a lot of times we take these things for granted, but a lot of that came from you just putting yourself out there and being a part of a Facebook group of all things, right? And meeting
Right.
people. And if that wasn't the case, wouldn't have necessarily happened with those pieces. So I love to hear that sort of serendipity story.
It's
very cool.
It's totally crazy.
The-
I tell them that every day. I'm like, I still can't believe this. Like, happened in my life right now.
Yeah.
But it is.
The power of the internet. That is so cool. So now, how long ago was that? When did you guys buy?
So we started talking in the end of October. I think the first time we came and saw this place might have been Veterans Day, because we came from a vacation and came and saw it. But then we just started talking, and it just worked out. And December 1st is when we took ownership.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really cool. And I feel awful saying this to you. I've never actually been to an escape room. I need to rectify that, obviously. I've taken my kids to escape rooms, my olders, because they had a thing with school. Obviously, that was a while ago, definitely pre-COVID. But yeah, I myself have never been there. And since we will be relocating back to that general vicinity, I do plan on coming to see you. But I am going to, before that, check out those virtual rooms, because I think I saw on your website you have 2 virtual rooms, right?
And we can change which ones we host, so we can actually add more or take one away and add a different storyline. So it's been fun working with this team to get the virtual going.
Yes, I saw that on your site, that you guys design the stories and you do all of that yourself. So definitely some personal touches in there. And do you happen to have a favorite story? Just curious.
So here at the business, like, those are the stories that the previous owners designed. So like, we love, my favorite is Mad Scientist, just because we're in a pandemic, people are looking for it just fits well with our like storyline and what's going on in life right now. But just also because it's so like intense. Like, when you figure it out, you're so proud of yourself that you figured out this amazing puzzle. And there's just such unique aspects in that specific room that I get really excited. Plus, running rooms, I think it's the most fun to run because I probably know it the best.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when people pick that or Shipwrecked, I'm like, yes, I got this.
Oh my God.
Messaging the staff, being like, can you please come in? Like, I still in this room.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have this fear that I won't get out of the room, that I won't solve the mystery. I think virtual is a good way for me to dip my toe in that.
And it's really cool about us is we give unlimited hints. So a lot of places limited to 3 or 5. We don't do that. And usually it's a minute off your time, but if we see someone struggling, we won't take time off and we'll give them something. We're competitive and don't want the help and want to be the time themselves. And then
that's me. I'm really competitive, but then I'm like, no, I need more. Tell me more.
Our staff is actually really cool. Like, they'll go in the room, like, can I explain this to you? Like, because they just think it's easier that way.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love that about you guys already. So thank you for that, for catering to those of us that might be a little bit slower. Also, and I know because you are in a very unique market, I can genuinely say you are the first escape room owner that I've met. So I'm curious, and I know you've only owned the business like a short period of time, but in that period of time, what has been your biggest struggle so far?
Yeah.
COVID, honestly. And it's just kind of getting the message across that, our rooms are private. They're sanitized before and after. People are wearing a mask when they go in. Like, we really are trying to make sure that it is as clean and safe as possible. I have a 3-year-old who's running around on the weekends here. I don't want him exposed. I don't want my family members exposed. So it's obviously a priority, you know, and I think that's really important. And I don't know if bigger businesses get that opportunity, but since we're here all the time and I'm literally here Monday to Friday all day, like I make sure that that's something that we do no matter what.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And you have that personal motivation with the kiddo running around.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And obviously, you know, Katie and I are moms too. We totally get it.
For sure. Absolutely. Really.
And then by that same token, what do you feel, and I know that this also might be a hard question because of short ownership time, what do you feel like has been your biggest success so far?
Oh my gosh, the people. Like I have loved people that have come in and shared their stories. My husband and I were both working Christmas Eve. Our staff was off. So we said, let's keep it open. Let's see what happens. You know, I'm curious. We've never done this before. Let's see. And literally we were booked like to almost midnight. Like it was crazy. People, but it was so nice to see that like we could have offered people like a way to do something on Christmas Eve that wouldn't necessarily have done it. And that just really needed that time to bond as a family and get away. And they did the following and they walked out and they said, you know, and it's my birthday. I didn't solve this room and it's my birthday. Like, I want a prize. And so we like went and found something like we could give her that would be like a memory. But just sort of like, you know, this is how you choose to spend a time that's special to you and your family. Like, that's an honor. You don't really get that opportunity very often. And we had fun, you know, even though we're working Christmas Eve, it was exciting because it was for us. It wasn't for anyone else. Like, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and, you know, it shows that you really love your business and, you know, you really bought into it and what you're doing. You know, one of the things that's interesting about you is not just the fact that you obviously, like so many businesses, have had to pivot and sort of figure things out during COVID and the pandemic, but, you know, you started your business during this time and you had to make those adjustments, like you said. One of the things I love is that we were talking about these virtual rooms. What made you really say, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this virtual room stuff. I'm going to do this. How's that been going? Talk to us a little bit about those virtual rooms, because I do want people out there to be able to be like, this could be something cool to check out. So tell us about that.
So that was challenging at first. Literally, even before we bought it, the first thing everyone said to me is, please go virtual as soon as you can. And I was like, can I at least learn the business first? And it was one of those things where I was like, I don't know how it happen. I don't know how it costs. But we were lucky to find a company that does subscriptions through their rooms and work with them. And when we heard the storylines and heard what they were doing, I fell in love with the stories. I saw their videos and the work and I was like, oh my gosh, I would totally do this. And if I would do it, then I'm guessing a lot of other people would. And so that gave us the opportunity to launch it in like the next week instead of waiting, you know, a few months where we made one of our rooms virtual. And I honestly didn't want to do that because I want, after COVID or even now, like people to be able to come to these rooms and not get them anywhere else. So for virtual, I wanted options that weren't what they would get if they come here, because I wanted them to try all of our rooms instead of just one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you mentioned, I love that one of the things that you said as far as a success is, I think ties really, really close into what we would kind of ask people what their favorite thing is about their business. And obviously you mentioned people. And I think so much of that says so much about you and where your heart is, that the people are what matter. And one of the things I think about with challenges is the fact that, you know, you decided to come into a business in something you had never done before in a pandemic time. When you made that decision to do it, what were maybe some of the hardest things to learn, or the things you had to kind of wrap your head around? What did that look like?
I think it was, I kept telling my husband, I was like, we just have to survive 6 months to a year, and then hopefully we'll do as well as the previous owners did, if not better. You know, so it was sustain. And it was, you know, we kept the staff that was working here before, and they're absolutely amazing. And a lot of the people have come back too. And so it was just like, let's keep this going. The couple that made this place really put their hearts into it, and each room was very, you know, full of intent, and like they've worked really hard to do it. And we just wanted to make sure like we didn't mess that up. Like I want them to be able to come back and say, oh my gosh, our hard work did not, you know, go to waste, because they might not have been able to continue it. But if we can do that and we can still offer people that, why not?
Great story. What a great way to see that legacy too. I mean, you're talking about just respecting that. And I think that for the past owners to be able to say, gosh, not only have we preserved this, but this person really respects, Lena respects that. So I love that so much.
Yeah, super excited
And
about that.
I know that you mentioned that, that Christmas story and the birthday and everything, and that your rooms are not necessarily horror based, but do you have you ever had people like kind of freak out in that scenario, whether it's from a competitive standpoint? Because I see me, because I'm both very competitive and prone to anxiety. Maybe that's another reason why I've never done it. But I totally see me kind of losing my shit in that situation. Do you have a best story for something like that?
Well, it's funny because people are competitive. The other day, a family came in during the day and they were like, we want to do the math scientist. And I was super excited. I was like, okay, let's go. It's my favorite room. And I was like, it's a little hard. Do you want me to give you a hint to start? And the guy goes, no, my dad's a rocket scientist. We can do it. And I was like, okay, I want to yes, I'm so excited. And I literally texted my husband, who came in to see a rocket scientist do this room, because he was so excited. We wanted his feedback. What do you think? Is it really what it? And literally, if they'd had 10 more minutes, they would have gotten the room. But I saw his frustration because he was over analyzing some of the stuff because he's so smart. And I wanted to no, you're overthinking this, but they didn't want hints, And so I was sitting here going, I want to help you, but you're telling me not to, so I don't know what to do. But they were still really excited, and they still, once the room ended, solved the mystery and, happy about it, and said they would come back and try the others. But then other people come in and were like, well, a rocket scientist did it, and they couldn't solve it, and you did. So, how does that feel? Yeah.
Totally.
Sort of the different groups and how they come in and how excited they are, and especially if they do solve it, because it's an accomplishment for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I would consider that a huge accomplishment, and my ego would be humongous if you told me that I solved a room that a rocket scientist could solve.
That's awesome.
My family would never put that down. But I do see that in sibling situations where that could kind of go sideways.
Families do two rooms and compete side by side to see who would solve which room first. And and somebody might solve the harder room but not the easier room, and they're like, but that's not fair. But it's literally the way you think, and each room is so different that if you're looking for secret passages, we have a special room for that. If you're good at the math and science, there's a room for that. So you kind of have to see what is and what your strong suits are before you do it.
I would not be in the math and science room. I can tell you that right now.
Favorite room now.
So do you have any tips for people like me who have never tried an escape room? Okay, so you're saying don't go into it with any type of, premeditated anything for that room. What else?
I think it's just going in and looking everywhere. It's funny for us because we can see on camera what people are doing, and I'm like, why are they trying to open this globe? But honestly, the smartest thing to do, because 99% another escape room might have a clue in there, whether we do or not. So it's think about everything, explore everything, and anything from a picture frame on the wall could have a hint to a capital letter on a note, and so it is to kind of it might not seem like it's a hint at some point, but it could be. So keep it in the back of your mind. When you start overthinking things, that's when they get harder and harder. And we do that. My husband and I did the rooms, and we were like, okay, we're making this way harder than it should be. It can't be this complicated.
That's exactly what I would do, is overthink everything.
So it's just enjoy the room. Take it as
that's a good mantra to take into it. Just enjoy it. Just have fun. Calm down, Stephanie.
No one's gonna leave you there, Steph.
Right, exactly.
That's amazing. You know, one of the things we like to ask business owners and entrepreneurs is if you were to talk to someone who is considering starting up a service-based business, kind of, you know, getting into business, things like that, what maybe advice would you have for them, or anything like that for, you know, business owner to future business owner?
I think people forget how important marketing is, or not even forget, but they don't have the budget for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's great to look on Twitter and that all makes sense, but SEO, Google keywords, Yelp, you know, things like that, reviews, and having a marketing background, like I was like, oh, I can totally handle all of that. But you kind of have to step back and be like, okay, who else can help me with this? I can't do everything. I can't be the person that, you know, there's the phone all day, books the appointments, and then also Facebooks and tweets and does everything else all day because I won't have time.
Absolutely.
So it's sort of like taking a step back and seeing where you are strongest at and where others can come in and help. And the more you market, the more business you get. So you have to spend money to make money. Otherwise, you're not gonna, you know,
100%.
get any really.
I think that's great. And I think, you know, so many times when people go into business, they do just that. They think I need to do everything, and they look at that cost, and you're right. If they can invest in that and invest in their business in that way, it definitely can pay off. I think those are some really great tips. You know, one of the things that you're doing, speaking of investing, you're investing in the viewers here. One of the things that you're doing is you are giving a discount, and I love that it is not just virtual, but tell us a little bit about this discount you're giving to the viewers and how they can utilize that no matter where they are.
Yeah, so it works on our virtual and in-person rooms. The discount promo code is SALAD15. And it gives you 15% off your entire purchase. So it should, especially for like a big group, should be 30, 40 bucks easy. And it's super fun. Come try us. I have a blast. And our virtual escape room person is amazing. So if you do virtual, I have a feeling you guys are going to love her.
We're
and
going to do it.
For fun. And I think the best part about virtual is you can literally be anywhere and like get your family and friends in, compete with them. Those rooms can take up to 100 people. So like you could literally have a family reunion escape room competition and, you know, compete against each other. Like, and I think the flexibility with that is amazing. Like I would totally recommend that.
I love it.
Yes.
I love that, Alina.
And not only that, I saw that you guys recommend that for like team building on a corporate level.
We do.
Cool.
Yeah, we just had Fannie Mae book a virtual event for their team, and we're so excited because they're competing against each other to do it. So
awesome.
That is awesome. Katie, I think we need to get our teams.
I think that sounds great. I know we are in all sorts of different like states and zip codes, so I love that. I was looking at that stuff. We're gonna book it.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Oh, I'm so excited.
I love this.
Well, listen, Alina, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a blast. Please take a minute and let everybody know where they can find you guys on the web and on social. Just so everybody knows, I'll also put it in the comments.
Thank you. So thegreatescape.com, and escape is spelled XCAPE, like behind me. Super easy to find. On Facebook, it's The Great Escape VA, and then the numbers come to my cell, so I can answer text questions, anything. Reach out anytime, and I can't wait to see everyone here.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you much for this. Like this is awesome.
Of course. Thanks for joining us. And everybody out there in the ether, you can find us at Business Salad on Instagram at Biz Salad Show, and on YouTube at Business Salad. And I hope everybody enjoyed themselves today. Make sure to check out the escape room and Alina's company, and we can't wait to see everybody next week.
Awesome.
Bye.
Happy Friday.
Everybody.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.